What is your, you have become the very thing you swore to destroy moment? I told my friends' kids they could have a toy if they didn't fight over it. And if they fought I would take it back. They agreed. Then proceeded immediately fight over it when I turned around. Without any conscious input from my brain I span back and heard myself exclaim, what did I just say? And suddenly I was my mother. When I was an apprentice electrician it always weed me off when my journeyman would make me do the hard manual parts of a job while he did the easier, but more technical work. I always swore that when I got my license and my first apprentice that I'd be different. That went out the window pretty quick. When I was 16 I wanted to be in a famous band like Blink-182, have my own art studio, and destroy the concept of the 9-to-5. I have my own art studio in my home but now I work for a bank and process loans in a 9-to-5. I was at work today realizing how I have become the Sith. When I heard the voice of my mother coming out of my own throat, directed at my kid. That was the only time, though. I put an end to those shenanigans immediately and permanently. It's insane how our parents get inside our heads, even if we hate them. Always hated the fact my mother was an addict when I was growing up. Few months back I found myself doing a line of coke with my morning cup of tea. The revelation did not make me feel great, but it did give me a kick up the ass. Growing up, my dad hated going out. When we went on church outings, we were always the first family to leave. He just wanted to stay in and read the paper or watch TV. I vowed to never be as boring as him when I got older. Now that I'm older, nothing makes me happier than when plans get cancelled and I can just chill at home, and not worry about the commute or how much money I'd have to spend going out. Even if it's something I'm looking forward to like a band I really want to see, part of me still wants to not go because of how crappy the late night commute will be. When I set up the website blocker on the company network, I spent so much of my childhood trying to get around those blockers at school, and now I'm the one setting it up. Edit, admittedly, I'm not so evil as to block things for being categorized as tasteless like my school did. It's really just porn and illegal things, but I still feel slimy for doing it. When I became a manager in the tech field, I was going to do everything different. Managers suck and don't know what they're talking about. They're all far removed from the work their reports are doing. I was going to be transparent. I was going to tell people everything. It took about a year to realize that managers do the things they do for a reason. Why is being transparent bad? Because upper levels of management are unstable. One day we're getting reorged. One day we're doubling our staff. My job was to be the poop umbrella, not tell everyone every possible thing that might happen. My new motto is, you worry about those fighters. I'll worry about the towers. https://gettyarn.io/yarn-clip/cca061df-57db-45852b1e9f84. Why didn't my previous manager know about all the technical poop that I did? Because I was an SDE and he was a manager. They're not the same job. I tried to stay super connected to the tech until one of my reports told me, I got 8 people on this team that can code. I got 1 person on this team who can be a manager. I need you to be the manager. I hated wearing polos because my mom always talked about how nice this other person's son looked wearing polos. I, now, wear polos to work every day because it's the easiest way to dress business casual. They're pretty much just fancy t-shirts. Shit. A long time ago I was walking across the schoolyard. My dad used to beat my ass when he was having a bad day and it really fricked with me. So I was walking and just fuming, hating on him and how much of a tyrant he was for taking out his anger on me. Well, in that moment I bumped into a kid like 1/2 my size and he went to the ground. He hugged my legs, I think reflexively, and I just started pounding his face. I remember him crying, begging me to stop. The hatred. And then just a sudden moment of clarity. I realized I was a poopty person, that I was super mean, and that the kid I was hitting had done nothing wrong but was just a helpless target for my anger. I instantly flipped to empathizing for him, and saw myself for who I was. I can't describe the horror. I started crying and helping the boy up. We walked to the office together in tears and I ended up telling my principal everything. It was a long time ago. So they just decided to give me an in-school suspension and not inform my parents. Also, that kid and I ended up exchanging SNES games and playing MTG/Warhammer together a bunch in the following years. Andrew. Dude. I can't apologize enough. And thank you so much for not leaving me in a hell of my own creation. Decades later and I still think about you. And how kind of a person you were. You changed a life. Man. There's an anti-obesity PSA in existence that you might have seen if you're American. It starts with a guy being wheeled into the OR for a heart attack, and then the ad shows his life going backwards and what led up to him having a heart attack. I've never had a heart attack, but damn if that wasn't an ad that spoke to me. 5 feet and 280 pounds. I actually said out loud to myself, fuck. I've become that dude. Currently trying to lose weight to this day. It's hard, but I think I can do it. When I first started my career in maintenance 28 years ago, all the senior mechanic did was sit inside his shop and moan about people breaking poop and soak up cushy repairs on equipment and machinery we could bring to him inside his heated building, while myself and the other guys busted our freaking asses swinging sledgehammers, welding, and lugging tools out into the freezing rain to make repairs. What a worthless piece of poop. After nearly 30 years of swinging sledgehammers, busting my hump out in the cold, pounding rivets and beating steel, I think I've earned the right to sit in my shop while these punk-ass newbies who barely know which end of the screwdriver to hold in their soft, unscarred hands take their turn out in the freezing rain. Especially since they keep breaking poop that would work fine if they would only take care of it and stop abusing equipment. Oh. My. God. I didn't mind it, but I was brought up strict. Dad was all about discipline, honor, timeliness, reliability, and never, ever giving a compliment or praise that lasted more than 3 syllables. For if you did a really, really good job. I always promised myself I wouldn't just be my dad too, the daddening. I love the guy to pieces. But I just didn't want to be the same way. I wanted to be more relaxed, jovial, maybe even possibly, able to chill, on the odd occasion. Now I help teach at a dojo that's in a somewhat upper crusty area and have to regularly, and very carefully, tell some of the weenie hut juniors in the kids class to get their act together, fall in, quit sobbing on the ground and walk it off, etc. We have some other much more good cop instructors. So my job is being the hammer. Although, it really feels more like being the half-inflated balloon hammer you could win from a Chuck E. Cheese's. To me. One of my friends, a fellow instructor who's 1 year older than me and several years more experienced in martial arts, grew up with an absolute sack of poop for a father. He happened to be walking by when I was complimenting one of the kids for actually doing a really good job with one of the drills. Very good. Continue. Issued forth my dad's exact tone but from my voice. They both looked at me with slightly moistened eyes and a brief look of unfiltered hope and rare, joyous recognition. For a couple minutes there, I had 2 foster sons. Looking at the work of an intern and wanted to scream at him, I don't understand. Been doing this the same way for a decade. Why did you have to mess with it? I looked into this already when you were still in middle school. All you had to do was look on the server to find the solution to this problem. Thankfully I caught myself before speaking. 2 years ago I was an electrician's apprentice. The safety guy would always get on to me about being unsafe and I'd hate it. I always thought of him as an overpaid underworked schlong head. Turns out I was right. Now I'm an overpaid underworked schlong head and it's awesome. The checks are amazing and the work is light as hell. In my teen years I was a free living, no plans or aspirations type of person. You know, go with the flow fricka job type. And always thought I'd be that way. Now I work 7 to 3:30 every day, meal prep, go to the gym and generally like to have a routine. I spent a full year living with 4 roommates, one of whom left every pantry door open. I spent months and months trying to catch her in the act. Moved out to my own place. Found out it was me all along. I was in a computer class in high school and would drive the teachers nuts. I even had the other kids mocking the teachers by shouting out, "On task," whenever the teacher would start looking around to make sure we were working. I now teach a high school computer class. A student the other day stopped me before I could tell them to put their phone away and go back to work by saying, I know, on task, on task." I was speechless and just left the student to return to my desk and rethink my life choices. In my early 20s I went to art college. I made a piece called Payday, the subject of which was 3 sad, balding middle-aged men with potbellies in corporate attire. It was a commentary on an unrewarding corporate life in the pursuit of money I never wanted to live. 30 years later, I'm a senior corporate leader with a potbelly and a bald spot. And the picture I made in art college is hanging in the front hall of my slightly less than modest home. I love my job and everything that corporate life has given me. Though I wish I could lose the potbelly and grow back the long grunge hair I had back then. Edit, the picture that several people have requested. https://pickbun.com/p/sh37dsrd. It's not that great and probably one of many reasons I didn't become the great artist I aspired to be. Also, I'm pretty active with activities like skiing and mountain biking. I just like beer and whiskey and hot dogs more than I like salads.